All right, now let's look at what it looks like for the student. So I'm going to go to a different room with some more specific tools, and I'm going to grab that join info. This room has tools specific for constructed response writing and trying to coach the student through that writing process. So when I go to that link as a student, the first thing I'm prompted is to enter a name. Now this is for the free version of Magic Student. If I were on the paid version, which we will be, I would have the option to log in with an account and remember my output history. Now, when I go here and do something and then close out, that output history is lost for me as the student, but the teacher still has access to all of it. So when I join the room, the first thing I see is this pop-up about using Magic School responsibly. So some great best practices for students to think about. And this pops up every time they go to a Magic Student room. So the repetition kind of reinforces the fact that these are really important things to take into consideration as we use these very new tools. So I can click I acknowledge, and then I have access to the tools that are in this room. This particular room has two customized tools, and they're both about constructed response writing. So I'm going to pull up this first tool, and I have the title and the description, and I can hit generate to get the conversation going. And it's going to introduce itself and what its purpose is. So as a student, I can copy this if I needed to maybe paste it somewhere else. It has really good read aloud features, really good AI powered text to speech. So it sounds very natural, and it's a great way to take in all of the text that you're getting in this conversation. So the first thing it's asking me is what question I'm responding to with my constructed response. So I'm just going to say something simple like, what is the theme of the story? Use to details in the text. And this particular chatbot is customized to first ask for the question and then ask for my writing. So I can share, let's just share a very poor response to see how it handles that. The theme is kindness. The details are all the kind things the boy does. Now, this particular tool is not trained on any specific stories, but it is trained on a grading rubric that the state uses for the 3 through 8 testing, 2-point rubric. So that was something I added in the knowledge space. Now it says, thanks for sharing your response. Let me give you some feedback. I specifically instructed it to give one thing that the user did well and one thing that they can improve, along with some guiding questions to help them move forward. So we clearly stated the theme of kindness, which is a good start. Response needs more specific details from the story. Instead of saying all the kind things, we need to mention exactly what kind things the boy did. So that's some good coaching. This is the kind of thing I would say as the teacher. And then we have some guiding questions. Can you tell me one specific kind of action the boy did in the story? What was another specific example of his kindness? So it's prompting me to pull two specific details from the text. Remember, when we write responses, it's like being a detective. We need to find exact evidence from the story to prove our point. So that's a really great way of framing what we're doing here. So all of this just kind of results in some pretty good coaching for the student through the writing process. Now, as the student, I also have the ability to attach things from my Google Drive or upload directly from my computer. I also have the ability to record myself dictating what I want to say. So it has great speech to text in addition to text to speech. So just to show what that looks like real quick. I can't find any details in the story. It's just how I feel. So we'll see how that goes. Then I'll send that and see what we get. Now it's again continuing to coach me with some really great response. let's take a step back together and try this together. Have you read the story we're supposed to be writing about? If not, would you like to read it together and then look for details? Would you like to reread the story together, learn how to find important details while reading, try to writing your response again after we read? I also have some actions down here that can kind of help. Maybe I want to translate to a certain language. That's really cool. I want to control the length, 50% shorter, twice as long. Summarize. Let's say summarize with bullet points, even though they kind of already did that, so maybe that wasn't the best example for this, but you can see I can pretty quickly use these action buttons to get a different format that works better for me. So I have all of this interaction. I can see this all now. I can go back to my other tool and try that one out. I'm not going to do that right now, but now that I've left that first tool, when I go back into it, it's kind of like I'm starting over, but I have access to everything I've done so far in my output history. And I can view all those messages, and then I can continue the thread. So that'll pick me up where I left off. So very user-friendly for the student using this tool. Some really great accessibility tools in the text-to-speech and speech-to-text, as well as some scaffolding with action buttons to help me change the format of what I'm seeing, so for something that works for me. And the fact that I have multiple tools in a room, I can kind of gather several tools that accomplish different things, all for one bigger purpose. In this case, that's working on my constructed response writing technique, but you could collect several tools for a variety of purposes, and then you get to make a room that works for a student to help them get to a certain point.